Hello everybody and welcome to the practice. Today what we're going to be working on is lengthening our hamstrings, the muscles in the backs of the legs that for most of us become shortened because of our lifestyle. We sit most of the time or a lot of the time, and so the muscles in the backs of the legs become shortened. And when that happens, it has a dramatic effect on the back, specifically the lower back. So we're going to lengthen the hamstrings today. I have a few props. I have a belt. Of course, I have a sticky mat, I have a belt, and I have a chair that we'll use later on, and maybe a foam brick. So have those around. But if you don't have those around, just grab whatever you happen to have around. You can even do it without a sticky mat, on the floor, on some carpeting, whatever you have around. So I'm starting in Supta Tadasana. Notice that I have my feet against the wall, and my knees are slightly bent, just a little bit bent. Hold on to the sides of the sticky mat, and then push into the wall, and extend your legs, straighten the legs, pressing the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. And the effect should be that you should feel that your buttocks flesh is being pulled towards your heels. And then hold on to the sides of the sticky mat, turn the tops of the arms out and lift your chest. And then maintain that as you belt your right foot. So put the belt on the big toe mound and the little toe mound of the right foot and extend your leg up. Keep pushing into the wall with your left inner foot, pressing this thigh down. So don't let this bottom leg come up. Press it down. To help with that, you can lean the up leg, the right leg, towards the wall to help get the back of that left thigh down. And then maintain that, and then see if you can bring your right foot right above your hip. Now you may not be able to with integrity, so it's better to just be here than to have this leg up and this leg bent. So keep the up leg straight and the bottom leg down, and then see if you can bring the right foot closer to above your hip, and you may not be able to. And now the action here is to keep the foot stable, but move your thigh bone away from the front of the thigh into the back of the thigh. So move this thigh bone away from the front into the back, and then maintain that action or continue that action. And now you can start to pull the foot a little bit towards your face, but again, without bending the up knee or lifting the back thigh. Keep the bottom thigh down, keep the up leg straight, and then pull as much as you can go. And you should feel the back of this leg, this right leg, definitely lengthening. And then release. Now push the right foot into the wall and belt your left foot. Place the belt right around the big toe mound and the little toe mound of the foot. Keep pushing the right foot into the wall. Press the back of the right thigh down. Push the left big toe mound up into the belt. And again, at first, just lean this leg, the left leg, a little bit towards the wall to get the back of the right thigh closer to the floor. And then maintain that, and then see if you can bring the left foot right above the hip. But please, if you can't, just stay wherever you need to be with the integrity of extended legs, straight legs. So once that left foot is over the hip or as far as you can go, then begin to move the femur bone, the thigh bone, away from the front of the thigh into the back of the thigh. So it's really the bone that's moving. The muscles will follow the bones. So move your femur bone, your left femur bone, away from the front of the leg into the back of the leg. Maintain that, and then if possible you can start to pull the foot, the up foot closer without bending the knee, without lifting the back thigh. Keep the bottom thigh down, and then you can go as far as you can go with integrity. Making sure to breathe, keeping your eyes soft, and then release. Good, so that's called Supta Padangusthasana, number 1, which means foot big toe pose, reclined foot big toe pose. So press both feet into the wall, extend your legs away from your arms, extend your arms over your heads with your palms upwards, bring the front ribs into the back ribs, and then bring both knees up into the chest for Pavamuktasana, the wind relieving pose, bringing the thighs into the waist and the waist down into the floor. Keep your shoulders down. If you need to have the knees a little bit apart here, that's completely fine if there's some hardness there in the groins. Okay, now roll to the side and then come on up. And we'll place our hands onto the wall for Ardha Uttanasana. So place your hands onto the wall here right at the level of your shoulders. And dial the hands out 45 degrees, spread the fingers really well, and imprint the index and the thumb knuckle into the wall. Maintain that as you walk back until the arms are straight. Look down at the feet. Bring your feet right under your hips and bring your feet as wide as your hands, and take the heels a little bit wider than the toes, and then move your hips back. If you need to move the feet back a little bit, feel free to do that. So press into the sticky mat with the bottoms of the feet. Draw the kneecaps up, and again, move the femur bones back away from the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. So the hips go back. Straighten the arms, just keep the ears right in between the arms there, and straighten your arms. So Ardha Uttanasana. Move the femur bones away from the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. Right at the top back thigh, move that back. And then release. Okay, now we'll do Parsvotanasana. So bring your right foot about 1 foot's distance away from the wall, unless you're super tight in the hamstrings, and then you can have your right foot all the way at the wall. Otherwise, bring your right foot about 1 foot away from the wall, step the left leg back about 4 feet, and line up your front heel with your back heel. And notice that I have the back foot turned out about 60 degrees. So press into the inside of your right foot, the big toe mound and the inner heel, and then draw this right hip back away from the wall. Press the outer edge of your left foot down and draw the left hip forward. Maintain that evenness of your hips as you walk your hands all the way up the wall as high as you can on your fingertips. Again, if this feels like it's too much stretch, or your legs are bending, your back is rounding, move your feet closer to the wall. More flexible folks, you can come further out. Bring your right foot 2 foot from the wall. So now your upper body is parallel to the floor. So you'll be here, more flexible folks. But make sure that the right hip is back, even with the left hip, lengthening the sides of the trunk. Okay, so let's do the other side. So start with the left foot about 1 foot's distance away from the wall. Get closer if you're less flexible. Move further back if you're more flexible. And then take your right leg back about 4 feet. Line up your front left foot with your back right heel, and then take the hands up the wall. Push into the sticky mat with the inside of your left foot and draw this left hip back. Press into the outer edge of the right foot and draw the right hip forward. Pushing the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. So really pulling the femur bones away from the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs, and then walking up the wall. So the sides of your trunk are lengthening. Those of you more flexible, take this front foot further back and the back foot further back, so you'll be more in this position. Bringing the femur bones away from the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs, especially on the front left leg. Draw the left hip back, even with the right hip, and then release. Okay, now this is where we'll use the chair. So we'll have a chair here, and you'll stand in front of the chair in Tadasana. Bring your right foot up onto the chair, and then you can bring your right foot up onto the back of the chair. Now if this feels too high and you're bending the knees, your back is starting to round, then what you want to do is just maybe have a brick here, or even use the seat of the chair. You have to stand a little bit further back, and maybe your foot is going to come here. You can also just do this on a windowsill, anything you happen to have around. Just get into the habit of putting your foot up onto something. It really helps. Now, what happens in this pose, the first thing that happens is that the bottom foot turns out. So make sure that this bottom foot is in Tadasana. And again, move the femur bone away from the front of this leg into the back of this leg. So you have to back up. And then just like we did in Supta Padangusthasana, push this inner right foot into the wall and draw the right hip down so the hips are even, like we did in Parsvotanasana. You can stay with the hands on the hips here, moving the front of moving the femur bone away from the front of the thigh into the back of the thigh. Also on this leg, move the femur bone away from the front of the thigh into the back of the thigh. Bring the right hip down, keeping the left hip in, and then maybe raise the arms up into Urdhva Hastasana. Take the inner upper arms back so that the palms are facing each other. Push into that wall with the right inner foot, and then release. Okay, so let's do the other side. So again, find the height that's going to work for your body today. So keep your right foot down. Make sure that your right foot hasn't turned out. Press your left inner foot into the wall. And begin the work of backing up. The work is backing up. Just like when we were on the floor, how we're pressing the bottom thigh down, now this thigh has to go back. So bring the femur bone of the standing leg away from the front of the thigh into the back of the thigh. So there's a backing up action. And then bring the femur bone here, again, from the front of the thigh into the back of the thigh, bringing the left hip down, keeping the right hip in. Bringing the shoulders back over the hips, bringing your ears over the shoulders, and then extending the arms up maybe. Otherwise, just keeping your hands on the hips. So this is Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. Bringing the fronts of the femur bones away from the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs, drawing the outer hips inwards. And then release. Good, so now we'll come back to the wall here, but we'll do Ardha Uttanasana, this time with the fingertips on the wall. So just your fingertips are on the wall, fingernails are going upwards. So walk back. Again, have your feet as wide as your hands. Press down through the bottoms of your feet and move the femur bones away from the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs, keeping the kneecaps lifting. A lot of you will stay here. Others of you, bring your hands down to the floor. More flexible folks, as long as you don't have any lower back sensitivity, bring your fingertips down. Take your hands wide apart and then bend your elbows out to the sides and then release the head downwards. And you should feel a definite stretch now in the backs of the legs, but continue that action of moving the femur bones away from the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. Bring the abdomen up and over the thighs and then go down. Use your breath. And then bring your fingertips back onto the floor. Bring your hands to the hips. Reach the chest forward. Come on up. And then just stand in Tadasana for a moment. Feel the effects of that lengthening of your hamstrings. And that's our practice for today. Enjoy your lengthened hamstrings. Namaste.